Ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry to have been late. I would rather talk to you than to be cheered, so let me occupy the time and cheer after I am gone. Unless the desire for cheering is entirely exterminated by my speech, I have but half an hour in which to speak. I understand that you like to ask questions, and so instead of giving the 3/4 of an hour that I would have, I am going to take the half an hour in speaking and then give you 15 minutes to ask questions if you like. I am always glad to have questions asked, and although when one submits to questions, he allows the few who ask the questions to determine the character of his speech instead of determining it himself. Yet I am perfectly willing to indulge that because questioning is an important part of the lawyer's business. I appreciate the opportunity of speaking to you. I talk to students whenever I can. I am glad to do so because the students is at the age of life when the mind is inquiring. When you talk to student body, you are talking to people in the springtime when speed can be planted with prospect of a harvest, and when you talk to students, you talk to those who will multiply 100 or 1,000 fold and good impression that you may leave upon them. And in the very short time that I have to speak to you, I want to speak upon two subjects, and in doing so I violate one of the rules of public speaking, a rule, and I think there is force in it, which is to have one theme to talk about one thing and stop when you have presented one thought. Somehow often stopped without presenting even one thought. It is quite important that there should be one, and on this occasion I am going to try to present two, because it has been, I think, now 48 years that I have been trying to get to you, and I do not know how long it may be before I can come again. I am going to improve the opportunity first as to public speaking. Sometimes I get a letter from a young man who says he is a born orator of and who asks what such a one should do to prepare himself for his work. I generally answer that while it is necessary for an orator to be born, that is the simplest part of his equipment. If I want to find out whether a young man is going to make a good speaker, I do not inquire whether his mother spoke well or whether his father spoke a great deal or vice versa. It is not a matter of inheritance. There are two essentials in public speaking, two things that you cannot be without. First, you must know what you are talking about, and second, you must mean what you say. Information and earnestness are the two things absolutely necessary, for a person cannot give information unless he has it himself, and he cannot make others feel unless he himself feels deeply upon his subject. All eloquence is addressed from the heart of him who speaks to the hearts of those who hear. When I was in school, someone described the difference between Demosthenes I and Cicero, and the description was this: when Cicero speaks, people say how well Cicero speaks. Who Demosthenes speaks, they say let us go against Philip. The difference being that one impressed himself upon the audience while the other impressed his subject. The object of speaking, if it is argumentative, is to persuade, and when you are through making a speech, if those who have listened gather in groups and discuss what you have said, some affirming it to be true, others denying it, you may feel sure that you have made an impression, and it is more of a compliment to you to have people discussing what you said than merely saying what a fine speaker he is. The first essentials I say are earnestness, are information and earnestness, and you can add to these other things that improve one's speech. For instance, clearness of statement is a very important thing. The Declaration of Independence says there are certain self-evident truths. If I were amending that statement, I would say that all truth is self-evident, and the best service you can render truth is to state it so plainly that it can be understood, for when a truth can be understood, it needs no argument.